In this video, we're going to learn to flip a virtual coin. So we're going to write a program that every time we run is going to generate either a head or a tail. So let's start off once again with our pseudocode. And we're just going to write down some ideas and then we'll formalize what we're doing. So what do we need to do? We need to somehow create a random value, a head or a tail. Now, computers don't think in heads and tails. They really think in terms of numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to translate our head and tail into a number. So I'm going to say heads is going to be equal to 0 and tails will be equal to 1. So now I need to somehow generate a random number. So I also need to generate a random number that is either 0 or 1. And then I need to print out the correct head or tail as a result of the number. Okay, so that's my idea. So let's express that formally in pseudocode. So I don't need to worry about the head and tail. I'll get to that shortly. So I need to init random number equal to generate random number 0 or 1. Okay, so that's my first line. Then I need to do some type of conditional statement, some type of selection and condition. If my random number is equal to 0, then I'm going to print out heads. Else, I'm going to print tails. And I'll end my if. So that's my formalized pseudocode. So what did I do here? I thought through the things I needed to do and I defined some things. And then I took those ideas and I formalized it into my pseudocode. So let's go through and set up this problem now. So the first problem is generate a random number, either a 0 or a 1. That's really something new we haven't done yet. So how do I generate a random number? Well, I'm going to go straight to the console. I'm going to play around and I'll work out a way of doing this before I write my actual code. So the way to generate a random number in JavaScript is to go math.random. Now when you do math.random, it generates a random number between 0 and 1, including 0, but not including 1. So 0, which is going to be less than or equal to the random number generated, which is going to be less than 1, but not including 1. So somehow I need to turn this random number into a 0 or a 1. Well, there's another function we can use. We could round our random number. So if it's less than 0.5, we'll round it down to 0. And if it's greater than 0.5, it will round up to 1. So the way you do a rounding function is you go math.round and then whatever you want to round. So if I wanted to round 2.3, that gives me 2. If I wanted to round 0.7, it would give me 1. So that rounds correctly. So if I went math.round and the value that I put into it was a random number, it should give me a 0 or a 1. Now the way I get my code line to reappear is I just press the up arrow and it will show me the previous line. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1s. So I'm getting 0s and 1s randomly. So this line here is how I can generate a random number either 0 or 1. Okay, so I can write my script now. So let my random number equal. Now I'll just paste this, copy this over. Copy, paste. It doesn't need these extra spaces here at the end. I just put them in to make it easy to read. And then the rest of my pseudocode says if random number equal comparison. Remember, I'm doing comparison here and I'm doing assignment here is equal to 0. Then I will console log, so I'll print heads. Else, or console.log, and I'll print out tails. I'm just adding extra spaces just to make it readable. So now I'll save that. I made a spelling error. There we go, it gave me heads. And I can just keep refreshing. Tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads. So it's always going to give me a random heads or tails. So that's where we'll leave this little exercise, but we will pick this up in our next video.